Coming up next on Tech News Today, iOS 10 updates are wreaking havoc on a small number of iOS devices, but otherwise, other users are getting the update, and there's a lot to like. We'll talk all about that. Also, AdBlock Plus has a marketplace that they say is going to replace their blocked ads with its own ad inventory. Samsung is going to nag Note 7 users who aren't sending back their Note 7s that have the faulty battery by zapping the battery capacity so they have to. And YouTube is trying its hand in social with a new feature called Community. All that and more coming up next on Tech News Today.
This is Twit. Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1597, recorded Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Zerto, virtual replication and disaster recovery technology that gives you the confidence to keep your business moving forward no matter what comes your way. Zerto empowers you to protect and recover your IT assets, move to the cloud, and know you're ready for anything. Get a free readiness assessment for your data center at confidentcio.com.
And by Gazelle, the online marketplace for buying and selling used gadgets. Shop from a variety of certified pre-owned electronics or trade one in for cash. Give new life to a used device. Visit gazelle.com today.
And by Wealthfront. Wealthfront is a low-cost automated investment service and the most sophisticated way to invest your money. Whether you've got millions or you're just starting out, visit www.wealthfront.com/TNT and sign up to get your free personalized investment portfolio. That's www.wealthfront.com/TNT.
Welcome to Tech News Today. This is the show where we talk about all the latest news and technology, and we are the Bert and Ernie of tech news.
Oh, well, that's okay. I have a place in my heart for Bert and Ernie,
Me
so I'm
too.
okay with that.
I want to thank Ed, who sent me a whole long list
Oh,
of
no.
daring duos. So if you, Megan at twit.tv, if you have, eventually we'll run out of daring duos. So
Are you going to start putting those in the doc so that I see them ahead of time and I'm
Nope.
prepared?
I want to surprise you
boy.
every time.
Oh, boy, I'm scared.
I'm Megan Morrone.
I'm Jason Howell. It's good to be back. You held down the fort. You had a great show. We were just seeing, I can't remember the name. I think it was Nobody in chat that said yesterday was an amazing episode.
Oh, yeah, it was. I loved the segment you did with the virtual reality. I think every time
I
you
love
go...
that, too, because it was a lot of fun.
Every time you go somewhere, I think you need to do a virtual reality segment because it's
Okay.
just amazing to see you with the goggles and and
Well,
you get so excited.
TechCrunch Disrupt was interesting with the technology that was there, but so much of the stuff that I was really interested in, fascinated by, happened to be in the virtual reality section. So I think if you haven't noticed by now, I'm kind of a virtual reality fanboy. So you send me to a conference like that, I'm going to go to that section, and that's going to be all the stuff that I send back. Just be forewarned.
Okay, I'm warned. Consider
Okay.
myself warned. All right, let's get to the news. iOS 10 has been unleashed upon the people of Earth. Later on in the show, we'll talk to Jeff Benjamin from 9to5Mac about some of the newest features. But here's what you should know right now. In the first hour that the update was available this morning, it was bricking some devices. I updated around noon with no problems, and now all of the new features are available to me. If you were one of the sad few with bricks, you can restore them by connecting your phone to iTunes on your computer. watchOS 3 is also available. That took a little bit longer, and I thought I had bricked my watch. I thought I would need to get a new one, but then it started up again. So now I have all of the newest iOSs. And
So your watch ended up coming through because you were panicking there for a while.
Yeah.
All it had was an Apple logo on it for like 10 minutes, and that's a panic situation.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're ever going to see it again.
No, but it's fine now. So there's some new ways to communicate in messages in iOS 10. You can send birthday balloons. You have to, it's perfect because you're convincing everyone you know to update.
Yeah.
Just because I want to send you these fancy things and you can't see them unless you update. And so
Yeah.
I've already tried to spread the word to all my chat friends. So yeah, it's exciting.
Were you on the beta prior to this update?
I was not. I had a couple of iPads on the beta, but not my phone because I was just afraid that things wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And
it turns out that the people that were getting the bricked update were the people that weren't on the beta,
Yes.
expecting that it would just work.
Right. That's what we surmised, that everybody at Apple was on the beta and they had no trouble updating. But yeah,
Yeah.
the people that weren't on the beta. They were the ones that got the bricks.
I mean, this isn't the first time that this has happened with a major update to iOS. Last year, the upgrade to iOS 9 ended up with what was called the slide to upgrade bug, where users couldn't move beyond that screen. And basically at that time, Apple just basically said, well, okay, I guess you got a factory reset. So the moral of the story is probably a pretty good good idea to back up your OS, and Apple makes that pretty easy for the most part to back up all of your important information from iOS before any major OS upgrade. Now, I say that, I don't necessarily practice that. I mean, I do to a certain degree, but I don't go through, at least on Android, and do a full like system backup before I do any updates. I throw caution to the wind, but that might not be the right way to go.
No, that's not.
Okay, well, maybe I'll learn from those people's mistakes. AdBlock Plus, one of the biggies in the AdBlock business, of course, is unveiling changes to its acceptable ads platform to include a marketplace for marketers that will basically enable them to place their own ads in front of ads that are blocked by AdBlock Plus. That makes sense? The marketplace allows website owners and blogs to choose acceptable ads that would be shown to visitors using AdBlock Plus in place of the ads that they already display on their site that would otherwise simply be blocked altogether. So this kind of seems like it's in vogue right now. You know, what was it? Brave, the browser that would block ads on a website and then replace it with its own ad inventory. And you have to wonder, I mean, as a website owner, so I run a website. I place ads on my website. Those ads make me money. Why would I make a deal with AdBlock Plus to monetize the ads that they are blocking? I guess it's because ad blocking is going to happen anyways. Users are going to use AdBlock Plus. So if you're doing this, you as a website owner are still going to make money off of those blocked ads, which are replaced with AdBlock Plus's own ad inventory. It just seems to like signal defeat and acceptance of ad blocking. I don't know if it's the right or the wrong thing to do for a website owner.
Well, you still get money from the AdBlock Plus ads as well. Like they only take 30% of those. So you're getting money from both, right?
You are, but you as a website owner, you've basically said, this is the ad platform that I agree with because I'm putting it on my site. Mm-hmm. But if you choose to block it, okay, then I guess I agree with that too. It just seems to me like you're making a deal with the devil to a certain degree.
Well, you know what I think acceptable ads are?
What?
Like the people that put ketchup on broccoli.
I'm gonna have
have you ever seen that?
Unpack that one for me.
Well,
I don't
broccoli,
know.
it's like it's good for you. It's got iron and all the other things. And then you pour ketchup on it to like make it taste good, but then ketchup is like all full of sugar and salt and bad things. Like
True.
That's what I think acceptable ads. They're still ads. So
I see where you're going. Okay, took me a second. My dinner table is covered in ketchup because I've got 2 young kids.
Right.
And they basically put ketchup on everything. And at this point, I've just given up on that battle.
So you're basically AdBlock Plus.
I am the website, and yes, exactly.
You're an AdBlock Plus dad.
I'm saying if you're going to replace the broccoli that I gave you with this ketchup, and it enables you to eat the broccoli, then okay, I guess I'm willing to admit defeat.
So my first question was like, are they selling ads? But they say they're not selling ads. Their fact says they are whitelisting an infrastructure, thus enabling the serving of acceptable ads by several demand sources.
Right, routing through.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I want acceptable ads. We're supported by advertising. I hope our ads are acceptable to you out there.
They're also baked into our content and impossible to remove, at least at this point. They're very different types of ads versus like an ad unit on a website that can be easily extracted. The acceptable ads program that they're doing here, they've actually been doing this since 2011. And part of what you're talking about with the whitelist is like they ran it with a whitelist of approved ads. Now they've got this network that basically publishers are going to keep 80% of the revenue. The remaining 20% is going to be split between the parties who are serving the ads, and then any revenue made on top of that, 6% of that is going to AdBlock Plus. So they're going to make money off of that as well. So there you go.
Well, Samsung is doing its part to help those who won't help themselves by returning their potentially explosive Galaxy Note 7. ZDNet reports that an over-the-air update will prevent users of the recalled phone from fully charging their device. Now, the Note has a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, but the forced upgrade will enforce it to 2,100 milliamp hours. The update will begin on September 20th and will move overseas. First, it's going to start in South Korea. Then it will move overseas pending talks with other carriers, according to Ars Technica.
When I was looking into this, I was trying to figure out, okay, so I understand there are a lot of users that have Note 7s that are not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't think we know. I know 2.5 million devices were sold. We don't know how many people have sent them back yet, do we?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I got an email this morning with data from Apptelligent that basically shows that the Note 7 adoption rate dropped when the reports started to hit, and now it's kind of back at the same rate that it was the day of the recall. So people are not like getting the message. Like they're still using these devices. They're still picking, activating them and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what's missing there. Samsung isn't getting the message to them. People don't care. There's even some people in this office, I won't name names, who refuse to send their Note 7 back. But then at the same time, you brought up a really good point earlier, which is that, not everybody is in the position that I am, for example. Like I have a Note 7, brand new in the box, received it a couple of days ago, finally this morning called in to do the whole return process. And that's no skin off my back because like I review phones. So it's not like I don't have another phone to use until then, but not everybody has that situation. So it's really inconvenient, but this is a pretty important safety issue. People need to do this. Is this throttling of the battery? Is this to kind of force people into submission to do something about it? Or is this protecting the battery by not charging it up full power? That's what I couldn't figure out.
From my understanding, it's mainly just to annoy the hell out of you until you
Okay, it's like a nag screen.
Yeah.
It's a nag screen. You're only going to make it half the day. If that's good enough for you, then whatever.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the science of it, if it really keeps it from exploding if you only charge it to 60%. I don't think anyone can say that.
Yeah. I was just very curious on that one, but
yeah. So they've said exactly what it was: a small battery flaw. You can read online what the science behind that. Which is one thing, touching another thing and exploding.
Yeah,
anode.
Basically the production error pushed negative and positive poles together within the battery cells, and in doing so, it basically allowed it to heat up excessively and quickly as a result. So there you go. I happened to find it on the page right as you said that. Tidal, Jay-Z's high-fidelity streaming music service, continues to lose money in big ways. Wall Street Journal reports that last year, this is the same year that Jay-Z took the service over, the company doubled its net loss at around 239 million Swedish kroner. That's about $28 million American. On the positive side, revenue for the company during the same period rose 30% to 402 million kroner from 309 million kroner the year before. So, I mean, Tidal's become kind of the punching bag in the music streaming industry. Probably helped along because of that whole signing at the very beginning where everybody, including Madonna, put her leg up on the table, and it was just, to sign the document. It was this great, grand, over-the-top kind of thing, and it kind of left a strange taste in your mouth to begin with. But all streaming services are having trouble right now. This is just another example. I don't know. There's a market for this sort of thing. I just don't know if there's enough of a market for it.
Yeah, I don't think so. You mean high, like good quality music. Yeah, I think there's a small market. There's 4.2 million paying subscribers of Tidal versus, what is it? A lot more for Apple, and 17 million for Apple and 30 million for Spotify. Apple, of course, has everything else behind them, so they can pour a lot more money into this. I know Spotify is struggling, but they also just have the fact that people have been using the service. They also have a free tier. Tidal has no free tier. So, I mean, a lot of people, go on the free tier and then they go up and start paying. But if you don't have that option, then you're less likely to. So this doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, the other thing about Apple is like the app's already on your phone. So I don't know. I don't think Tidal has a chance. I give them spring of 2017.
I don't know how long they have. I actually want high fidelity, like access to high fidelity
Do you
music.
subscribe?
At the same time, like I don't subscribe to it,
Yeah.
but I find value in it, but I don't subscribe to
Yeah.
it. So I don't know what that means. Maybe that means that my current service, that they started doing it, I might pony up to do the extra. Do I want to move from Google Play Music, which is where I am now, over to another service just for that promise? I mean, it's hard to do that, especially when you consider that their library is so much smaller. Like, okay, great, it's higher fidelity music, but it's not very much of it. So I don't know if that's a good trade-off.
Sorry, Tidal.
Yeah.
Last week, we told you that Google has killed its modular phone project, and today Quartz is reporting that the founder of Project Aura, that was the modular phone project, Dan Makowski, might be reincarnating Aura as a phone case from a company called NextPack. Now, you talked to the CEO of NextPack yesterday. What can you tell us about this project?
I did. So that was Jason Koh, CEO. You can find the special. We did a special at TechCrunch Disrupt, so twit.tv/specials. Find yesterday's episode, and you'll see the full interview, kind of hands-on with the NextPack. And it was funny, like my first question, had to do with, I'm sure everybody tells you that, this looks a lot like Project Aura, and Project Aura, has kind of failed by all reports. Like, is this going to not fail? Jason Koh, the CEO, never once mentioned that anybody on his staff, including this pretty high profile, character, Dan Makowski, was involved with the company. That would have been very interesting information. I wish I had known that prior to the interview, but it looked really cool. Like my eyes were instantly drawn to this thing. They had the big poster, and I mean, it looks so much like Project Aura. I know that we probably have some B-roll of this from yesterday, but it's, kind of the modular pieced together, backplate essentially. You slide in, swap in pieces to expand functionality. Aura would have this built into the phone. This is really just a case. It's a case for iOS, and it's a case for Android, and allows you to kind of make a modular phone out of the phone you already have. That was one of his biggest kind of points, is that, expecting someone to buy into a completely new phone is a lot more to expect than to say, take the phone you already have and add this functionality into it. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I looked immediately to see if they had cases for iPhones, and they do. So, if you want a better camera, if you want a bigger battery, if there's, you need a flashlight or like any sort of needs, you wouldn't have to buy a different phone. So yeah, they're calling it mass individualization is what they called it. So I like that.
They also have a dev kit that they're working on. So and this is very similar to what Aura was all about, really kind of promoting a whole lot of different, empowering individuals and empowering organizations to take the dev kit and create their own modules that work with the platform. How much support is it going to get? I'm not really entirely sure. Maybe that was a reason that Project Aura didn't end up happening. One of many reasons that it didn't. So maybe NextPack would face the same challenges, but it was cool. It didn't have the magnetic snap-ins. It was more like a slide and secure type mechanism, as opposed to like with Project Aura, it looked really satisfying to like put one in and have it snap into place with the heavy magnets working on there. But cool nonetheless. Yeah, there we go. See, and on the back plate, like if you saw this from afar, it would look like a Project Aura phone from the back, but you can see this is a Samsung phone. I was actually really surprised to see this working with iOS, and I mean, he showed me the case. It had the lightning plug in there. He said that takes a lot more coordination, working directly with Apple to make that happen, but they're in the process of that, and that will be able to, people will be able to buy these very soon. They also have an environmental testing module because they have a big market in China. Oh. And so you can plug it in and test the quality of your environment. Huh. Yes.
Do they have one with a headphone jack?
Well, that's a great question. And I imagine because it's a case, they could at some point just build that in. That makes sense, but they didn't there that I saw anyways. But cool stuff nonetheless. iOS 10 is hitting devices starting today, and we'll chat with Jeff Benjamin from 9to5Mac about how it fares in the real world. But first, let's take a minute to thank Zerto. They are the sponsor of this episode. Zerto is IT asset protection, disaster recovery, and cloud continuity for confident CIOs. Confidence can make or break businesses in today's IT world. It can really mean the difference between hesitation and action, success or irrelevance. Zerto's cloud-based business continuity solutions arm today's CIOs and IT pros with the confidence to know their systems are ready for anything. With Zerto, you can recover from downtime, you can test new technology, move to the cloud in a matter of clicks, and all while you're maintaining business continuity. Zerto's virtual replication technology gives you the power to simplify your migrations. You can switch to new infrastructure faster and get quicker ROI in a matter of clicks. You'll know your data is protected. There's breakthrough hypervisor-based software here that puts the power of continuous replication at your fingertips. You can migrate to the cloud and literally no disruptions with enterprise-class software that empowers you to seamlessly and safely move virtualized workloads between public, private, and hybrid clouds. You'll get complete comprehensive data protection and one smart solution for BCDR across storage and hypervisors. You can recover from any disruption with checkpoints every few seconds. Protect and recover your files, your virtual machines, applications from any point in time. So you're going to want to check this out for yourself. See for yourself how Zerto simplifies your data replication and disaster recovery. Plus, get a free readiness assessment for your data center. All you have to do is go to confidentcio.com. That's confidentcio.com. And we thank Zerto for their support.
It's a big day for Apple in addition to the release of iOS 10 and watchOS 3. Those lucky tech reporters blessed with review units have had their piece about the new iPhone 7. We are none of those reporters, and neither is our guest. But our guest is Jeff Benjamin from 9to5Mac. He's looked at some benchmarks. He knows a lot about iOS 10, and we're so excited to have him. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Megan. Hey, Jason.
Hi.
So let's start with a piece that you posted yesterday about just how fast the new iPhones are. You say they're faster than the iPad Pro. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I haven't actually benchmarked them myself, but some of the benchmarks I've been able to see show that the new A10 Fusion chip inside of the new iPhone 7 is much faster than any iPhone before it, and even faster than the iPad Pro, the 12.9-inch version. So pretty remarkable.
And so what you're seeing today with the reviews of people who've had it in their hands, does that kind of match up? I know when you posted those benchmarks, you weren't sure that they were legit, but is that matching up from what people are saying?
Yeah, it sounds like it. From the reviews I've read, it sounds like those benchmarks are legit, and it is indeed the fastest iOS device ever. So looking forward to it.
That's exciting.
Man, I would hope that it would be. I would hope that every iOS device would be faster than the one prior.
Right. What if they were like, this one's just a little bit slower?
We brought you the best iPhone. Unfortunately, it's a little bit slower than last year's, but we think you'll like the other features. I never know how much weight to put on benchmarks. Like, I know benchmarks are a thing, and I understand the purpose that they serve. How would you say benchmarks like what we're seeing here translate into real-world usage, like that any random person using this phone is going to notice?
I mean, I think most people aren't going to really notice in day-to-day usage at all. In fact, many of the apps probably haven't been, optimized to work their best with the new chip. But I think when it comes to things like gaming or video encoding, exporting videos from something like iMovie, you will notice a difference for sure. In fact, this new processor is actually what Apple's calling a 4-core processor. It basically has two cores to do high performance stuff, and then it has 2 cores for like high or for low power situations, so that it's not taking up a lot of battery when doing like things like checking email and things of that nature. So 2 sets for handling different situations.
Right.
So I know on ordering day you ordered not 1, but 2 new iPhones. Tell us what you got and why.
I went ahead and got an iPhone 7, the jet black, just because it's the new color, and I definitely had to try it. Yeah, had to try that out. And then I got the larger iPhone 7 Plus because I wanted to try out that camera.
So yeah.
What about you guys?
My orders are all over the place. I ordered the 256 just matte black, but I'm rethinking that because 256 gigs is a lot of space, and I don't really know what I would do with all of it. I'm sure I could find something to do with all of it. And then Leo ordered an extra one that I might get sooner, so who knows? I'll have something hopefully by Friday.
I ordered a Galaxy Note 7.
Did you order a fire extinguisher too?
I have one. It's cool.
Just kidding, Android people.
No, I actually, Megan and I have a plan at some point to trade for, I don't know how long it's going to be, probably like a month-ish or somewhere around there. It's a really long time to not use Android, especially when I do an Android show or two on this network. But so I'm hoping to get to play with one of these new devices.
Yeah, we're gonna suffer. So I know you do a lot of video walkthroughs. What are some of the features of iOS 10 that you're most excited about talking about?
I think most people are going to be excited by the new Messages app, and it is truly the biggest part of iOS 10. It is completely overhauled. There's all these new features, just several of them to name off the top of my head. The iMessage App Store, which allows you to run actual apps inside of iMessage without leaving the Messages app. Then there's things like stickers, so you can get stickers from all sorts of different companies like Disney, or there's Star Wars stickers. Of course, they're owned by Disney. And various other things in iMessage, such as inline previews of web links, inline video playback. So Apple's really trying to keep you inside the Messages app, so you don't have to leave it to do whatever else you need to do. So that's probably the biggest new feature. There's lots of others as well.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the Super Mario Run stickers also. I don't think they're owned by Disney yet. But I think you're right. They're trying to keep you in Messages, keep you from taking your chats to Twitter or Facebook Messenger. And they're also trying to, I think, convince you to get other people in Messages, because there's all these cool things that you can do. The disappearing messages, you just type in happy birthday and balloons appear. But people that aren't running iOS 10, what do they see?
Exactly. So it's sort of a lock-in thing, trying to recruit people to come to iMessage, trying to keep the people that are in iMessage staying there, so they're not taking their chats to like Facebook Messenger or other areas. So I think it's definitely geared towards not only boosting adoption rates fastly or quickly, but also to keep people inside of the Apple ecosystem and to recruit others to join them.
Now, the sticker pick packs that you looked at, are those, you have to pay for those, or are some of them free?
Some of them are free. A lot of them are paid. For instance, all the Disney sticker packs are, I think, $1.99. So it can add up pretty quickly. But I did see a lot of paid sticker packs out there, a lot of paid apps in general for iMessage.
Mm-hmm. So what about games? Are any of the games that you can play, but they're games that you can play within iMessage, right?
Yeah, so it's not anything like hardcore games or stuff like that. It's mainly going to be turn-based games. So you're going to have games like chess or Words with Friends, and a lot of those are free, but there are some paid games as well. But basically, it's all about taking turns, sending a game play to whoever you're talking to in iMessage, waiting on their response, like that. So it's not anything that's real time, for instance.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you have your hands full with all kinds of reviews for iOS 10 and then for the iPhone 7 when you get yours on Friday. Jeff he writes for 9to5Mac, does lots of videos, how-tos, and he is Jeff Benjam on Twitter. Thanks so much for joining us, Jeff.
No problem. Happy iOS 10 day.
Have fun, Jeff. Thank you again.
See ya.
See ya. All right, last week we talked about the cost involved in requiring all sites to use HTTPS. A viewer who said he or she would like to remain anonymous, we get that from time to time, wrote, "You mentioned how SSL certificates are really expensive. That's kind of accurate. However, you should mention the free alternative called Let's Encrypt. It's especially easy to implement with some hosting providers. My hosting provider, DreamHost, has a checkbox to implement free SSL certificates on my websites." And yes, I did mean to mention Let's Encrypt, but failed to, so I apologize. But I'm happy that you, anonymous person, wrote in to make sure that everybody knows that SSL HTTPS does not have to be an expensive fare. There are definitely reasons to or to not use Let's Encrypt. From what I could tell, Let's Encrypt, is maybe less ideal for larger organizations for a number of reasons, but definitely take a look at their FAQ and kind of, check it out for yourself. And, if you're a smaller website, let's say, this would be a really good alternative to kind of save yourself the cost.
Thanks for writing in. We always love your emails. TNT@twit.tv. After the break, Harry McCracken is here to tell us about YouTube's new social network. But first, let's take a minute to thank Gazelle, the sponsor of this episode. Gazelle is the trusted online marketplace for buying and selling used electronics. If the new iPhone sounds good to you, now is the time to sell your old phone to Gazelle. Or maybe you like having a headphone jack, or you want an Android phone. You can buy those at Gazelle too. Trade in your old device for cash, buy a certified pre-owned one, or you can do both. For trade-in, simply visit gazelle.com, find your device, and get an instant quote. Shipping is free and payment is fast. If you're looking to buy a certified pre-owned device, Gazelle has a variety of iPhones, including the iPhone 6S and the iPhone 6S Plus. They have iPads, they have Samsung Galaxy phones, lots to choose from. Each device is fully inspected, backed by a 30-day return policy, and sold without a carrier contract. Go to gazelle.com, see where your old device is worth, and check out the selections of certified pre-owned devices today. Gazelle also offers a 12-month warranty for cell phones and iPads powered by Assurant Solutions. Those cover water damage, cracked screens, hardware defects, and more. Help is available 24/7 to process claims and return your device ASAP. Don't miss out on getting the best value on certified pre-owned devices. Visit gazelle.com. All devices have been put through a rigorous 30-point inspection process, ensuring that they are in perfect working order. Devices are available for support by carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. Give new life to used electronics, trade in for cash, or buy certified pre-owned. Visit gazelle.com today.
All right, so YouTube has been secretly working on a host of new features that are going to allow its creators to foster relationships even better than they have before with their users in non-video ways. Joining us to pick this apart is Harry McCracken from Fast Company. How's it going, Harry?
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah, it's good to talk with you again. Nice to have you here. So first and foremost, the new offering is called Community, and it's in beta at the moment. What kind of features does Community bring to YouTube creators?
Well, YouTube's been around for 11 years, and it's made a lot of people very happy by letting them do videos, but that's all it's let them do. And so for the first time, it's doing stuff that's pretty reminiscent of what you'd see on Facebook and Twitter in terms of letting people do text posts and still photos and animated GIFs, and it will also allow them to do live video.
Nice. So what exactly is kind of the problem, the issue that they're tackling with Community? I mean, YouTube is full. I mean, obviously YouTube has no problem getting subscribers, getting people to interact with the videos that are there. But what were creators kind of missing that that Community tackles?
Well, this is launching with just a dozen creators, most of who have millions of followers. And basically, these people, they get millions of views on YouTube, but if they want to do anything other than upload a video, and they're doing videos in some cases that are pretty ambitious and very lavishly polished, they've had to go to places like Twitter or Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram. And this allows them to do much more kind of off-the-cuff, quick communications with their followers, and also allows them to do it without getting into YouTube comments, which A, kind of have a reputation as not being all that great, and B, are attached to a specific video rather than a specific person. So it allows for kind of a more informal and off-the-cuff and fluid form of communication with their followers.
Nice.
I thought that was a really interesting part of your piece that I hadn't thought about. Yeah, we always talk about YouTube comments just being like the worst ever. and your point was that it's because there's not a whole conversation. It's not a back and forth. It's like, here's my video, and then someone can, it's sort of like driving by and throwing a rock at your house, you know, just
right.
Like, you're ugly, you're horrible, you're stupid, I hate what you're talking about, even if it's, you know, dolls or something. But what you say is that their idea is that, you know, they take these people like, you know, Hank and John Green, the vlog brothers, who are beloved, and then, you know, their audience, bring their audience there, and so they can post pictures or just, you know, make comments, and then they would have that audience. But you say they will eventually roll it out to everyone. What makes them think that the average person who maybe has more Twitter followers or more friends on Facebook, that the average person would do what they now do on Facebook and Twitter on YouTube?
Well, and they're definitely not trying to be Facebook or Twitter. When you hear about these features, it sounds like maybe YouTube is turning itself into a social network, and that's not really the idea at all. I think this really is for people who have at least something of a following on YouTube. And video is going to remain at the center of what they're doing. I don't think you'll ever see a day where text and still images and this other stuff is on an equal footing with video on YouTube. So it's really supplemental, and I think it's aimed at people who have these followers. And these, in a lot of cases, they already have a passionate community of people who love their YouTube videos. They just have not had a great way to communicate with those people on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be the integration of Google Plus into YouTube, and then that kind of got separated, as did everything from Google Plus at this point. It's pretty much all been peeled away. Do you think that YouTube or Google, they've kind of took some of those lessons? Because, I mean, this is definitely at its core a social offering, and Google's tried social many times, and, you know, depending on who you ask, they've either succeeded or not succeeded quite so well or not at all. Do you think they've taken any of those lessons and kind of integrated it here in a way that's going to work for YouTube better?
They've definitely learned. I mean, I think people felt like the Google Plus integration was forced down their throats, basically because they had no choice. And with Community, you'll be able to see these other types of updates in your subscriptions feed along with videos. But if you don't like that, you'll be able to turn it off. They also think a lot of people will want to get these as notifications, because if you're a big fan of Hank and John Green, you might want to see their stuff as they post it. But if you don't want to do that, you'll be able to turn that off too. So it's all optional. And they say they're going to, during this beta period, figure out whether it should be on by default or something you need to switch on specifically. But either way, you'll be able to choose.
And then what about content moderation? I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, just in the sense that YouTube comments, you know, they can be toxic to a certain degree, depending on what videos you're watching and what kind of community is interacting with that particular video, let's say. Do creators that have community activated, do they have the ability to curate kind of some of the conversation that's happening there?
Yeah, so this is really designed to be kind of a safe space. For one thing, the creator initiates all the stuff. I can't go onto a creator's page and just post something myself. And I can comment on their posts, and other people can comment, but I can't comment on other people's comments unless I'm the creator. And if the creator doesn't like what I posted, they can just delete it. So it's not a free-for-all like Twitter. It's a little bit more like a Facebook page where the person who controls the page has quite a bit of control over what happens. And the philosophy is it's your page, and you get to decide whether people can do on it.
Got it.
When I think of community, I think a little bit differently of it than like a group of followers, which is, you know, slightly different. Will this eventually be more like, you know, a Reddit or something where there'll be, you know, just videos about cats or videos about Android, or, you know, just community in that way? Or will it always be following a creator?
Yeah, I mean, right now this is really tied to the personalities who have followings on YouTube. And, you know, they say they're going to experiment with it and add more features. But the problem they saw was that there are these YouTube personalities who went elsewhere on the web to continue the conversations that generally started with their YouTube videos. So, you know, my guess is that keeping with that philosophy of helping the creators is going to make sense. And there's no particular reason why YouTube should try to be a general purpose community. That's not what they're good at. And that's served pretty well on Reddit and Facebook and Twitter and elsewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, YouTube, you know, per your article, it really worked with creators in the creation of it, not only inviting some people in to use it, but also to just ask them, like, what are the things you need? What is missing from the YouTube experience? So it really kind of seems like it was built around that feedback, which is very important when you're talking about these kinds of communities, these larger communities like this.
It was super collaborative. Yeah, they really brought people in early. And even the name community was chosen by creators. Originally, YouTube thought it should be called Backstage because they saw it as really focusing on behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And the creators said, well, yes, we do like to do backstage stuff, but this is even a little bit broader, and that's how they settled on the name Community.
Excellent.
It makes sense. I mean, you know, you also talk about VidCon, which is the big conference for YouTubers, and there was, you know, you had a picture in your article of like all the people like just sitting outside, you know, just cross-legged and talking to each other, and it was like this idea, like, oh, suddenly, oh yeah, like these people commenting like to hang out with each other and talk to each other. How novel is that? Talking in the real world.
Yeah, that was a real inspiration for YouTube. They basically said that's a better version of the YouTube community than the stuff actually going on YouTube and comments. And so they wanted to recreate some of that feel, except within the YouTube app and website themselves.
Nice. Harry McCracken with fastcompany.com. Always a pleasure getting you on, Harry. Thanks so much for coming on. Where can people follow you online?
They can follow me at Harry McCracken on Twitter, or they can just stop by fastcompany.com to see what I've been writing lately.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Harry. Have a great night.
Take care, Harry.
Thanks, folks. Take care.
Bye.
TNT's fan of the day is Dennis Wall at Outdoors Zero on Twitter, who says, "This is how I listen to TNT on my Android car stereo with Pocket Casts."
I like a couple of parts of that sentence. Actually, more than a couple.
I like all.
I like
the parts,
it all.
and I like that BMW.
Yeah, I want that head unit in my car, especially because the head unit in my car doesn't work. So
I know,
anything would be a
sad.
step up. But that looks nice.
Maybe you need an iPhone because now it has 2 speakers.
Maybe.
Show us how you watch or listen to TNT. Just record a video, take a picture of yourself or your setup, post it on Instagram, Google+, Twitter, Facebook. Maybe someday soon you can post it on our YouTube community. Use the hashtag How I Watch TNT, and we will find it.
Let's take a minute to thank Wealthfront, the sponsor of this episode. You invest for the long term, for you or your family's financial health, but trying to do all that yourself, it's not easy, especially if you're trying to do it the right way. It's complex, it's time consuming, so many roadblocks. Luckily, there's Wealthfront. Traditional advisors charge huge fees, between 1% to 3% of what they manage. But with Wealthfront, you pay 1/4% a year. It's 25 basis points, 0 commissions, and no hidden fees. It's less than $5 a month to invest a $30,000 account. There are no additional charges for any of Wealthfront's services. With Wealthfront's new portfolio review, you can see if your portfolio is at risk, how diversified your investments are, what you're losing to fees. You can even minimize your taxes. You can do it all from there. You can get started investing today with as little as $500. It only takes a few minutes to sign up even. It goes right to work, monitors your portfolios around the clock, takes action as soon as an opportunity arises, which is very important when you're talking about this kind of stuff. Wealthfront is transparent. It's accessible. You can view and track all your accounts in one place. Wealthfront can actually track both your Wealthfront and non-Wealthfront bank and brokerage accounts that they're going to provide to you in a summary of all of your assets. You can also see every trade that Wealthfront makes on your behalf in your dashboard, on your desktop, or with their mobile app when you have that installed on your device. Wealthfront's process is based on Nobel Prize-winning academic research and the best investment practices. We've heard from so many TWIT fans who have used Wealthfront and love how they can diversify their portfolios and buy stocks from in-demand companies that we are talking about every single day on this network: Apple, Amazon, Facebook, you name it. All commission-free. Wealthfront recently introduced their 529 college savings plan that allows you to invest after-tax dollars, much like a Roth IRA, and save for your child or your grandchild's higher education expenses. Wealthfront manages almost $3 billion in client assets. It's growing rapidly every day. So what are you waiting for? Invest in your future today with Wealthfront. Visit www.wealthfront.com/TNT. There you can sign up and get your free personalized investment portfolio. You'll see the customized allocation that they recommend for your profile. And just for TWIT listeners, if you sign up to invest, Wealthfront will manage your first $15,000 entirely free of charge for life. Join the many TWIT fans who've seen huge success with Wealthfront and claim your offer today at www.wealthfront.com/TNT. All right, so you want to get your own pair of Apple's AirPods, but you're afraid that those tiny little free-hanging earbuds might someday get lost in the chaos of life. They are, after all, dangling free from your ear with no cable or tether to catch them if they fall. Maybe the first thing you should do with those wireless earbuds is throw a wire on them. That makes sense to me. Spigen's, is it Spigen or Spigen?
I say Spigen.
Okay, I say Spigen too. It's probably 50-50 on that one. It's Spigen's strap for AirPods. They cost $10, right around there. They basically tie the two pods together behind your neck. So now, instead of losing one, you'll lose them both. Isn't that nice?
You're less likely to lose
fine.
them.
You're less likely.
I think this is genius. And
Yeah?
I love that. I mean, they must have known. I'm sure that Apple, told them that they were doing this. So they must have whipped it up in the garage and threw it on.
I think it
Amazon.
works. Let's push it to market.
I am a big fan of Spigen products, and even though I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and I think this is great. If I do get the AirPods, which I don't think I will, I would totally get that, because the Bluetooth headphones that I have connect behind my back. It's totally comfortable, and then I'm less likely to lose them. And I think $10, that's nothing, compared to buying them again, which I'm sure someone will.
Which is a lot more than $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it sounds, a lot of people are doing this with their wireless earbuds already because that's just the way they come. So sounds good. October 17th is the date if you want to get one of those little wires to connect them to your ears, I suppose. TNT records live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC at twit.tv/live. You can be part of the show by emailing us at tnt@twit.tv. You can leave us a short voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW, and you can find us on Twitter. We're at Tech News Today TV.
And until we're allowed to have our own YouTube community, then you need to subscribe to become part of the community at twit.tv/TNT. That's all the ways. We'll take any podcast catcher you want to use. We are there. And if you want to tweet at me, I'm at Megan Morrone.
Real quick here, Bleak in chat room confirms it's Spigen as per their YouTube ads. So their ads pronounce it Spigen. Yeah. In the U.S., we say it differently. Spigen.
Okay.
I don't know. It's still going to be really hard for me to change that from Spigen to Spigen. It's spelt Spigen, so of course you'd say it that way.
Right. And we're Americans, so we pronounce stuff the way we want to pronounce it.
Yeah, like how we pronounce it nougat. I'm at Jason Howell on Twitter. Thanks to our technical director and our editor. 2 roles today, Kevin. Thanks to Burke for scrolling the words on the screen so we can read them. And thanks to you for talking tech with us today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.